Hi guys, Harry here from the Art Gear Guy. Thank you so much for joining me today. As you can tell by the title, I have a review of this set of Derwent water brushes. Now, Derwent already have a set of water brushes out there on the market. These are not really new. I think they've been out now about 2 years maybe. I've had them quite a while, but I just wanted to do a review. And I know, there's not really much to say about water brushes, but I just wanted to add this to the collection of reviews that I have out there. I think they're quite unique. I think what Derwent have done with this particular set of water brushes have brought in all of the good qualities of all the other water brushes that are out there and combined them into this one set. Now, if you take the water brushes that Derwent used to have, they were quite minimalistic. There was just 3 brushes, one a small, very small square brush, and then 2 different size round brushes, like a really thin detailed one and a slightly bigger one. They would just simply fill up the barrel and you would squeeze the barrel to release any water. Wasn't a great deal of control over the water flow, that type of thing. My personal favourites used to be the Pentel water brushes. They were really, really nice. And then after that, the Caran d'Ache water brushes, they had like a plunge mechanism so you could suck up the water. But I found with them, when you sucked up the water, it didn't allow you to fully draw in the full capacity of the water. So you ended up having to top it up from the tap, things like that. The Derwent water brushes, the Caran d'Ache water brushes had like a push button mechanism on it, which allowed you to control the water, but they were very small and when you pressed them, they didn't really push through a lot of water. So what Derwent have done here is that they have combined all of those different features and they've created this water brush. Now, one of the things I really loved about the Pentel water brushes was their shape. And again, Derwent have basically not copied, but they've replicated a similar type shape with this brush, similar to the Faber-Castell water brush as well. Now, for those of you that are kind of maybe new to watercolor or don't know anything about watercolors, let me explain the reason why you would perhaps use a water brush. So for watercolor artists, there is a wide range of watercolor brushes that you can get. You can pick up a nice watercolor brush for a couple of pounds, and then you can go as far as picking up a really expensive watercolor brush for a couple of £100, and that will be because of the type of bristles that are on the brush and the handle and lots of different things. They're all top quality wood or squirrel hair or lots of different types of fibers that you can use for the brushes. Obviously, having a wide range of different size brushes in the studio is obviously advantageous to you as a watercolor artist, but a lot of watercolor artists love to get out and about, and they love to take like a small set with them that is going to enable them to do a quick sketch, quick paint, and then when they get back to the studio, they can use that as a reference image and create something different in the studio. That's where your water brushes come in. The reason why they're so handy to have is because they carry the water in the handle, so there is no need to have like a cup or a jar with you that's got water in it. You have the brush obviously on the end of the handle as well, so you've got all of that, and there's no. It kind of like kills 2 birds with 1 stone. You're not dipping in and out of water all the time. You can clean your brush real easy as well. But I'll show you all of that when we go through this. So as you can see here, this is a pack of 4. You can get these individually as well. You can buy them separately, but this is a pack of 4. Now, I've already opened this packet, but you can see some images popping up on your screen there. The brush sizes that are available in this particular set is a 2mm fine tip, a 3mm medium tip, a 4mm large tip, and then you've got a 10mm large, what they call chisel tip. So there's not really much I can, there's not really much to show you here other than the brushes themselves and the different kind of marks and line widths that you can get with the brushes. So let's take a look at the biggest one in the set, which is the 10mm. So as you can see here, you just take the lid off. They've all got lids, so they protect the bristles. The lids can go on the back, but they don't really stay on the back that well. They're quite loose, so do what you want with them. But this is what I'm talking about with regards to the way you can hold these brushes. So you've got this nice thin neck, and then it kind of like bevels out into this wider area here, which kind of sits in where your pen would sit rest. That being said, these brushes also as well, because of the way they're designed, they actually contain a significant amount of water in the actual barrel. Now, midway down here, you can see that it has this push button mechanism on both sides of the barrel. And then on the end here, we just have the Derwent logo as well. Now, where the push button is where the actual barrel splits. So all you need to do is twist it, and off it comes. Now, what I really love about these Derwent water brushes is, look at the size of the neck where the water goes into. Now, nearly every water brush that I have, including the Caran d'Ache and the Pentel one, here where you put the water into, the neck where you put the water into is quite small, and so it can be a pain in the backside sometimes when you're trying to put water into them. If you get like a little air bubble in it, it'll stop and it'll just overflow rather than going into the barrel, and they can be a pain. These are not. They just fill up really fast and you're good to go. You can see here as well in the brush part of there is like a mechanism in here, which is obviously where the control comes from, so that when you press the button, you're not just going to get like a mad gush of water. This little black thing here does help slow that down. So that's the 10mm chisel. You just pop the lid on there and you're good to go. And then we have these other three. Now these other three are just simply the round nibs. And so this one here is the 4mm nib. This one is the 3mm. I'll put them beside each other. And then the last one here is the 2mm. So you can see the differences there in the brushes. Like I said earlier on, they are nylon brushes, but they're really soft. They are really soft. I mean, these brushes are nothing special. They're not like, a Sable or anything like that that you would buy for perhaps your studio brushes. But they are soft, and they hold the water really well as the pigment that you're going to pick up. So I've just got here a little travel pan of Derwent ink tints, and all I'm going to do is just show you the variation of line widths that you can get using them. So we'll start with the 10mm. Okay, so we'll go into this really dark blue. Now, as you can see, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to push down on the button, and you should see some water dripping down into the pan just to activate it. So you can see there that the water is activating the pan, just soaking up some of this lovely pigment. This is ink tints, so it's a little bit different than watercolor, but same principle. And so what this allows me to do is get big thick lines. So if you were doing like your sky or something like that, you would perhaps use this big 10mm brush. So let me just do that again so that I can show you just the single variation size of it. And because of these water brushes, because they have, they hold their own water, you have good control. Incidentally, the paper that I'm using here is St Cuthbert's Mill, Bockingford. Beautiful paper, St Cuthbert's Mill. Really love it. Okay, so obviously now I'm finished with this, and all I want to do is clean this brush. So I've got some tissue here. You can see the water that I'm pressing out, and all that does is allows you to clean the brush really quite quickly. There you go. Obviously, I know there's a little bit of a wiggle there because the camera arm is attached to this table, so I need to put the camera arm in a different position. Sorry about that, guys. But anyway, you can see there that brush is clear, a little bit stained like. So next up we have the 4mm round brush, and again, I'm just going to drop it into some color. Just drop some water in here. There you go. And again, you can see it carries a lot of pigment, holds a lot of pigment. And so all I'm going to do here is press down on it, show you the line variation that you can get with this. And then again, I'm just going to do like a little detailed line there that you can see. I'll just zoom in a little bit here for you. So I'm just going to wash the brush again. When I press on the buttons here, you can see here the level of water that comes out. So you've got good control over it. Next up I'm going to use is the medium tip one, which is the 3mm. Again, just a little bit of water there to activate the pan. Come along here, and again just push down hard on it just to give it its like full line variation, and then pick up a little bit more and just do like a little detailed line there as well. And again, just cleaning these brushes, very, very easy. You can see there it comes out almost like a squirt, because that one this one filled up more than the others. Obviously, like any brush, you're still going to get a little bit of staining, but so long as when you put it down on the paper it's running clear, that's you're okay. And then finally here is this little 2mm brush. Again, just activate some color here. A little bit of water. Again, just put the full width of the brush down on the paper. And then that's really about it. Now, like I said, there's not much more to say about these watercolor brushes, other than of all the watercolor brushes that I've used so far, these Derwent ones are definitely my personal favorites. Like I said there earlier on, they fill up very easily, very fast. There's no fiddly bits on it. There's no messing about. You've got the push button on both sides. Gives you really good control of the water. All of the brushes hold quite a bit of water as well in the belly here of the brush. The brushes themselves are just nylon, but they're really nice, soft brushes. They're like all water brushes. Watercolor brushes or paint brushes. They do stain a little bit. It's almost impossible to get all the color out, but so long as when you are going to use the brush next, it runs clear, that's all that matters. And finally, the way that the brushes sit in your hand, they are well balanced, well weighted, with the water in them, and I personally love using these. For me, it's just like using a pen or a marker, and it gives you that kind of detailed ability with these brushes. So it's what I love about them. And here's another thing as well that you can use watercolor brushes for. If you haven't already, pick this little tip up from somewhere. If you are a watercolor pencil a colored pencil artist, and you use a lot of odorless mineral spirits, if you get a watercolor brush like this, just fill it up with the odorless mineral spirits, and then you've got that brush to to use on your colored pencil layers. If that's the type of method that you use for blending your colored pencils. So that's a wee tip that I picked up a long time ago. I still have a watercolor brush or a water brush that I have filled up with odorless mineral spirits, and anytime I need to use the OMS, I just use the water brush. So really handy. But anyway, that's the brushes. Now, so with these big square brushes, like I say, I'm not a big fan of these. Don't really use them. You get them, a lot of the sets of water brushes that you get, you always have one of these in here. And they are really for if you're doing like a sky wash, a slightly larger wash or something. If you're out and about, that's what the reason behind them. So let's move this over here a little bit. Let's get this set off. So hopefully I've cleaned this properly and the water will just run clear here. Yeah, it's running clear. So all I'm going to do is just do like a little bit of wet on wet. So if you were out and about, you're doing a little walk or something like that, out walking your dog, you see a lovely scene that you would like to just quickly sketch while you were out on a like little A6 water pad or something like that. Just let that settle in for a minute. So if you're out and about walking the dog, you've got your little A6 watercolor pad, you've got one or two of these water brushes, and you've got some watercolor pencils or a small little pan, like small little travel set like this one here from Derwent. All you need to do is just sit down and get your stuff out, and then you are good to create like a quick watercolor sketch. And so let me just put a little bit of color on here. And so I'm just going to do a little bit of wet on wet here. I haven't let it dry properly, but there you go. A lot of people, when we talk about watercolors, a lot of people prefer tubes and stuff like that. But with tubes are great in the studio. When you're out and about, unless you've got like a proper easel set up and you know what you're going to do, a little small set of watercolor pans is ideal. So my desk is at a slight angle here, so just let me mop up some of this escaping water. And so then all I would need to do is clean this off. dry it as best I can, and then just suck up some of this for your clouds, or even just use the big round brush. Again, just make sure it's dry, suck it up. And you can see there, you know, they still act like a watercolor brush, where you can dry them and suck out some clouds. Just mop that up a little bit down at the bottom, just get that bead out of the way. And that's really about it, guys. For price and links to where you can get these water brushes, if you're interested in them, I'll have the links down below, and I'll also have the prices over on the written review of these over on the Art Gear Guide. So if you want to know more about them, please click on the written review link down below, go across, and you'll see the prices where you can get them, in the set of 4 or just individually. If you're a little bit, you can hear Coda there in the background, he's not very happy. If you're a little bit like me, you might just want to get some like the round tip brushes, or if you think that you're going to be doing washes or that you need the square one, then maybe just get the set. It's entirely up to you. Anyway, guys, that's my review of the Derwent water brushes. I really love these water brushes. I think they're well designed, perfect for the job that you would be using them for. So I personally really like them. If you've got any questions or anything like that, guys, please by all means ask them down in the comment section down below, and I will do my best to get back to you as soon as possible. Also, as well, if you have liked this video and it's helped you out in any way, shape or form, please hit the like button. That does help the channel out a great deal. Same as leaving some comments. Actually, I always say this, the comment section in the video is perhaps the most important and most valuable part of the video, because it's where everybody gets a chance to have their own say about this product or a product similar to this that somebody might be using that in their opinion is better than this. And putting that information down there is so valuable, so vital for people that are looking for water brushes, because then they can weigh up all the different information that is there and help them decide what's going to be the best product for them when they're using it. So please leave some comments down below. Let us know if you've used these brushes before, or if you've used brushes that you really like, that you think might be better than these. Then again, leave that in the comments section. It's all valid and relevant. And I look forward to seeing you all again in the next video. And thank you guys so much for all your support. I will get this camera fixed, by the way, this arm fixed. I'll put it somewhere different where it's not going to wobble. As you can see here, it wobbles a bit anytime I move my arms or anything like that, so I need to get that sorted. All the best, guys, and I'll see you all again very soon. Thanks, bye.